Hi everyone. So I decided I'm going to make a video while I'm doing this, whatever the hell it is I'm doing. So I'm helping out some clients and I'm helping them restore their second house so it can list. And I'm really enjoying it, and it's got some of its setbacks. So I'm learning a lot. So today's topic, or I should say tonight's, because it's actually nighttime. I figure it before I go to work tomorrow. I have time to bust this little bit out that I want to do. So I'm going to kind of dig in on loving from a distance, because some people are like having a hard time distancing themselves from people that they have potential relationship with, or it just comes down to that they need some space. So when they need space and everything, it's a good thing to grant them that space. And sometimes when you guys go through a breakup and everything, you can love them from a distance. And loving from a distance is really important. Not only are you granting them their space, but you're also giving them the freedom to pursue the life that they want to. If there was a lot of arguments and fights about situations that just weren't getting resolved and stuff, then I would suggest taking a break, giving them their space. And you'll be doing this multiple times at the very beginning of a relationship until things are finally forming and your foundation is being built. Because you first got to find, you both have to come to the agreement. Oh yeah, you like my painting gloves. So you have to come in agreement that you want to be together. That's one. And the other thing is, you both have to decide if this is for the long haul or temporary. Because usually temporary means it's a lesson and you're going to learn a lot in that time frame. So loving from a distance is where you basically just let them go. And you let them go and be happy without you. They either catch up with you, like I said, or it comes down to you just have to let them go to live their life. And it sounds painful and stuff, but this is the highest form of loving somebody, is sacrificing your feelings. And I've had to do this in the past, and I don't feel bad, because as long as that person is happy and is thriving in life without me, that means that they're not going to be codependent on me. That means that they can manage on their own and they don't need me for anything. And I know that people would probably say, well, there's something wrong with that picture. Well, it all depends. If you're comfortable being codependent and constantly having to have somebody with you and you have a hard time being alone with only yourself, there is an issue. You need to focus on loving yourself. You need to focus on following your hobbies that you like to do. You need to focus on doing what makes you happy without having somebody else involved. Whatever it is. I mean, people kind of go a little overboard with the people pleasing. I'm not exactly going through that, but part of me thinks that I am, so I'm deciding to distance myself. There is, sometimes when I start recognizing a conflict developing, I go on a break. And it's not where I'm doing a breakup, it's just where I'm stopping and I'm reverting my attention back to me. And it doesn't mean that I gave up on the relationship. It's just I am one of those people that when I take my breaks, I take my breaks. That means you probably won't hear from me for a couple of days. And if it's a real true breakup, you'll never hear from me again. I don't usually do the whole go back and forth thing. It's either we either are together or we're not. And if it's a we're not together thing, I'm going to pursue my life as if we did not occupy each other's time so much. And I know a lot of people probably have an issue with this, but this is something that I do to cope with the ghosting. What I cope with people that aren't sure about me. And I'm saying people because, I mean, not all of this relationship talk is between a mate. It's also between family members and stuff like that. Like I said, I had to recently reevaluate my role with certain family members, and I decided that it was safer for me to just let them go and let them do what they had to do, and I'm going to love them from a distance. And that means that I'm not going to be there at their every beck and call when they want money. That means it's going to be tough love, and it's probably one of those permanent choices, because that's been too many years of my life where I've been trying to fix a relationship with someone that I truly don't think is ever going to be fixed. Now, I've been fine letting go of my mother. I've been fine letting go of my father. Now, this is the one person I didn't ever think that I would ever, let go of, but it's time. She's burnt me enough. She's hurt me enough. And if you just continue to allow people to hurt you, you're kind of trauma bonded to them. Well, I broke that bond, and I'm doing what I think is safe for me. When she says really horrible things to me, and when she says, and I feel that the situation is unsafe, I'm going to bounce. I don't care whose feelings I hurt. I don't care if I ever hear from them again. I am that sure of my choices when I am letting go of somebody, and when it comes to be a possible permanent situation. I don't like playing games. I don't like being manipulated. I don't like being harassed, and I certainly don't like being gaslighted. So what I do is I distance myself. Now, loving from a distance in these particular type of situations is I am going to remove myself from their world. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to just pull myself away and see if they thrive or not without me. I mean, I don't want the codependency. I don't want the responsibility of being someone's whipping boy. I don't like the way that my sister talks to me. And I've made it very, very clear from the get that she needs to work on the way she talks to me. Since she has chosen to continue to berate me and say terrible things to me and threaten me, I do not feel safe, and I will not put myself in unsafe situations. Therefore, I will remove myself. And loving from a distance is not just loving people from a distance, it's loving myself first. And I don't feel bad when I have to do this. I've had multiple people jump my case kind of on the same thing, and it really has me thinking, okay, so maybe this really is something I need to work on, which is what I'm doing. So to show them that I love them, I am creating distance, and just hopefully they just forget about me and they move on with their lives and they live happily ever after without me. And I know people are like, well, that sounds really, but no. Some people cannot handle the constriction behavior where people want to know your business 24/7. When are you going to be home? What are you doing? You know, all this kind of stuff. Some people would just like to be able to live in their bubbles because they're comfortable living in their bubbles. When they want to, I have been known to be called a turtle. I have a very hard shell, and then I have a very soft inside. But very few people get to see that. So when someone has poked the shell enough, I'm going to protect the softness. So therefore, I am going to retreat. And I'm okay with retreating. It doesn't make me a coward. It's just for everybody's safety that I don't. It's not like I'm a snapping. I could be a snapping turtle, no doubt about that. And I'm just saying these are just comparisons. They're not really. I'm not really seeing myself as a turtle or anything. But so I think The strongest form of love is where you put the ball in their court. And it's like you don't care if they pass the ball back to you or not. You just want to see them still pass the ball. You want to see them dribble the ball. You don't want to see them give up. You don't want to see them hurt themselves, self-harm, or anything like that. And if you're the agitator, you need to remove yourself. And loving from a distance is just observing and seeing how they're doing. Send people that are connected to you guys that are, and just have them, kind of keep an eye out where you're not involved, you're not knowing anything, but if anything drastic happens or anything terrible takes place, you want to be around the first list of people to know. Now, as far as personal information, like if they got married or if, anything having to do with another relationship that they get involved in, you don't want any of that information. And you would hope that your people that you contact and stuff, they just don't tell you that stuff. Because technically, it's really none of your business to know how that other relationship is going. And if you're stalking your ex or anything like that to see how the status of their relationship is, I would advise you not to. That's not loving from a distance. That is definitely stalking. And I don't recommend it. If they wanted to contact you, if they wanted anything to say, have anything to do with you, they would, they come out of their way and they come out of their shells and they would contact you. Till then, mind your own damn business. Now, if it's a child and you're dealing with a mother-child situation or a father-child situation, you can't exactly distance too much because then you're always going to be accused of abandonment, and then you're going to be like, well, shit, it's like you're caught in between a hard spot, a rock and a hard spot is what I call it, and it's like, how do you... So you can do every couple of weeks, you can check in on them. If they got a job, you just got to be like, that's awesome, be their cheerleader. Be their cheerleader. Just support, emotionally support, not financially support. And if it comes down to financial support, make sure that it's within your means and you're not being taken advantage of. Because that's not really nice. You don't really want to be a part of that. And then you also want to make sure that you keep the communication open and available to the ones that, you're loving from a distance, but kind of close distance. Not like where you're going 1,000 miles away or anything like that. But you're still trying to make an effort to keep the contact. And if they're still angry with you and they don't want to keep contact with you, you just accept it. And that is the hardest part of loving from a distance, is accepting that you may never come across this person again. But you want them to be happy and you want them to thrive in life. And sometimes you have to make the ultimate sacrifice and letting them go. And it sucks. But the good news is, it's either a turnaround or it's one of those eye-opening experiences like, well, then I guess it wasn't as strong as I thought it was, and you just let them go permanently. It sucks, but, nobody's sitting around waiting for you, if that makes sense. It's like everything is, the world keeps turning. Everything still keeps happening. Hold on, I'm going to take a break from this painting. Okay. Oh, here we go. The world keeps turning, and it comes down to when you make these choices that you have to make, and it's painful and everything. Just think of the big picture. They're not hurting. You're not hurting. Maybe a little bit you might be hurting, but you're really going to be happy because they're either going to really grow from this experience and make better choices in their life, or it's where, it's one of those really hard situations, but it's usually for the best when you have to make the distance. There we go. We'll go like this. Oh, don't look at that. it's really good to make the right choices when you're going to love from a distance, because you don't want to get it to the point where it's toxic. For one, you can't do toxic. Toxic is just like so unhealthy. It's not healthy in an emotional sense. It's not healthy in a physical sense, because like when you're so attached to somebody and they don't want to be around you and they want their distance and stuff, it's kind of like, I've heard people say that they go through withdrawals from their mates not being with them. And the great news about this is it's temporary. It's either temporary to where you guys regain and everything goes back to normal, or it's like a better platform for you guys, or it comes down to you get some personal growth from it and you're able to move forward and meet somebody way better. I can't promise that this is easy for everybody, but for a majority, I'm going to say, yeah. I don't see it being that big of a, oh, my world is going to crash. Oh, you get a couple of days of mopey days. You're going to pig out. Whatever it is you cope with the breakup with, and you guys have to like separate and everything. Don't take it to heart. Just take it as a lesson and learn from it so history doesn't repeat. And just know that you making the ultimate sacrifice by letting them go and showing them, I want you to be happy. I want you to thrive in life. I want you to prosper and all this stuff. Then guess what? You did your part. And that is the greatest thing you can do for somebody, is give them the space that they want. Give them the opportunity to go through the personal growth. Give them the opportunity to better themselves, to heal. And when it's away from you, yeah, it sucks and you're going to miss them and everything. But just imagine, like, if there's going to be a reunion, or if like you guys are going to meet up and out of the blue and just be, oh my God, I was just thinking about you and all this stuff, something like that. But you just have to give people their space and allow time to do what time does best. And the best thing I can say about time is personal growth, and time is like the ultimate catalyst. It's like, you've got your caterpillar moment. Yeah, I'm gonna go there. I'm gonna go with the caterpillar to butterfly. And I don't feel bad about it, because it's so true. When you go through your personal transformations and everything, it's a really good thing. It's not a negative thing. It may feel like it's so negative and it's like so distraught and you're just like, what am I going to do? I miss them and all that. That's great, you miss them, but they have to miss you too. And if they don't miss you and they don't think about you, you have to let them go to continue living without you. And when they catch up later, you have the right to tell them, you know what? You took too long. And now I don't want to be with you. Now you've shown me who you are, and I just feel that this is not going to be a good match. You could say that. And when it comes to family members, they were like, oh, well, family's forever. No, I'm one of those people. If you waited so many years to come back into my life and want me to forgive you, that's one thing I won't always grant. If you waited so much years later to say that you have changed all the things that I had wanted you to change, you have better chances of rekindling things with me than the person that took too much time. See, there's a difference between someone taking too much time because of ego reasons, whatever, but if someone actually had undergone a transformation and truly wanted to come back into my life, I would have to see the transformation for myself to believe it, for one. And then I would have to be, and it's not like I'm skeptical, I just think loving from a distance can kind of, put you in a jaded mindset when it comes to relationships. And that's okay. I mean, while you're going through your personal growth, they went through their personal growth. And like, I believe people that are meant to be together and supposed to be in people's lives, they keep coming back. They just keep migrating back to each other. And some people are just like here and always stay here. There is no union. There is no getting together. There is no matrimony. There is just nothing. And I've been through enough of these to where it's like, I don't want to do this anymore. So when I said get rid of my happiness blockers, this is what I meant. It's like, thank you. No, thank you. You know, we're good. You had your chance. You blew it. I'm not going to go forward with it. And I tell them straight, I was like, I want to be just friends. And that means platonic friends. That means that we're never going to lay in the bed together. We are never going to have a relationship. We're never going to communicate to the level of forming a relationship, because you already showed yourself to me to where I don't trust you. And when I get to that point, I don't want to further things. I don't want to confuse things. And I hope that people realize when I get to this point, they need to respect this and not push and pursue me on my trying to sway my mind, because I don't normally change my mind. Once I make my decision, and it's usually very permanent. And there is no go back. And loving from a distance, just being like, high five, but like 10,000 mile, you know, like really distant, like, oh, I'm sorry for you. That's great. I got things to do. I'm not going to go out of my way to communicate with people that disrespected me. I'm not going to go out of my way to communicate with people that had disrespected my children. I am not going to go out of my way. Like today, I was at a store today, and I came across this girl who was like trying to be nice and sweet with me. And I get it, you know, we had some rough patches and stuff, but because the way she yelled at my daughter is why I told her today at her job, and she was all trying to be cutesy. I said, listen, I said, I'm going to be transparent with you right now. I was like, the reason why I pulled away from you is because the way you yelled at my daughter that day. I said, I didn't appreciate it. And I should have spoke up and put you in check then. But I was just trying to keep the peace and stuff. And I feel that I should have said something, but instead I just distanced myself. And I watched you flourish. And, you know, I watched how you grew in life and everything. And I'm proud of you and stuff. But it's like, I just don't trust you. And I told her, and she was trying to get defensive. I said, no. I said, this is not a moment for us to have an argument. I was like, I don't want you to have to be fake with me. And I just like, I went up and I told her, I was like, the reason why I grew distant from you is because of the way you talk to my child. That's all it takes. All you have to do is do something that just really severs it for me. And I'm usually pretty set in my ways. And I'll be like, I'll make small talk at your job and everything, but we're not going to make plans to go have coffee. We're not going to have plans to go have, you know, lunch. You blew it. And I'm not going to feel bad protecting myself, protecting my children from people that want to have their moments. You had your moment. I witnessed you. I thought we could be cool friends, but I found out otherwise, and bye. It don't break my heart none, because like I said, I don't give a fuck if people like me or not. I'm going to continue still being me, and I'm going to continue to still grow in life, and I'm going to continue to prosper and reach the goals that I set for myself. And if people have a problem with me making the changes necessary for me to prosper in life, you know what? You don't have to talk to me. You don't even have to hang with me. You can see me down the road and you can flip me off and I'll flip you back. I'm like, howdy. It's that simple. So like when I say love from a distance, people, make sure that you do it properly. Don't be confusing people. Don't be trying to lead them on and say, oh, we're going to do this. And then they do something that's like, well, now that just went away. No. Because loving from a distance means just that. It will remain distant. There will be no togetherness. And I'm okay with it. And I just hope that others learn to become okay with it. Well, after this lovely painting session, I am going to start winding down and prepare to go to bed. And I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your week and continue prospering and making better choices and talking your feelings out and being as transparent as possible, because we need it. The world needs it. The world needs people to be honest and not cruel and not mean and not so obtuse, because there's a lot of obtuse people where I'm at. I mean, I come across some cool people, but I've had enough arguments this week to where I'm just like, I'm good. Distance. All right, y'all. Peace.